Lately I've been feeling things change. We've been working hard, no sleep, get it every day. And I swear that we ain't stopping till we pay. Yeah, the pressure on, gotta make it work. Triple play, yeah.
This is Triple Play Fantasy Basketball. People, we are here to prepare you for Week 20, which in normal leagues, if you have a sane commissioner, it is the last week of the regular season. So we are here to try to prepare you to best in your regular season and get prepped for the playoffs. I'm Coach James Lewis. You know the name, you know the face. I just dropped 2023 mock draft for our hopefuls for next year and people that'll be featured on the show next year. On the other end is Eric Doc Mendelson, who spends his free time playing men's league basketball as well as betting.
Yo,
my guy, what's up? He got a smile on his face. It's been a while since we chopped it up.
It has been a little bit, so there's a couple things I wanted to drop, and I was thinking about the order. But when you said most sane commissioners, James is alluding to the fact that he is going to miss the playoffs in my league, which is a 12-team league. James is going to be outside the top 6. So I wanted to share a little bit of a video. This is an old Geico commercial.
Oh, you almost had it. You got to be quicker than that.
That's what happens when you're the 7th seed. Ooh, you almost had it. One more week and you could have gotten in.
Let's go. We want to need to take a trip down memory lane for those that are just viewing for the first time. This is the same league that I should be back-to-back champ. Only reason it wasn't last year back-to-back is because that insane commissioner on the other end decided to go to the very last week where people stop playing games. And so, yeah, he's still waiting to get his.
But James almost had it. Almost had a playoff berth this year. We'll be sitting at home. But before we get into our show today, we are a proud sponsor of Underdog Fantasy. You can do more or less. You can do pick'ems. You can do drafts on there. And when you use promo code TRIPLE, like all Isaiah Joe does is shoot, Underdog is going to match you up to $100. So definitely check some stuff out on there. Jacob, James, myself have been using it, and it is awesome.
Yes, sir. So let's get to it, people. We know why you're here. We always talk about games watch. It's very important this time of year. 5 teams with 2. Man, that sucks. Because especially in your last week when you're trying to get into the playoffs, everything is on the table. People are getting cut that, you've been rostered all year. This is where you go for a gamble. 12 teams have 3, and a lucky 13 teams have 4 games played. So if you're looking at the T-Wolves, the Bulls, the Clippers, Suns, and Spurs, you might have to cut ties with players on that team or just be conscious of the week ahead. Monday, Tuesday, people to pick up. The Pistons and the 76ers play back-to-back, and if you want to get a couple of games, get ahead of the schedule, and then cut ties. Yeah, I randomly threw in a Grant Hill and Allen Iverson graphic in there.
Tough graphic.
It's so tough. Some nice-looking jerseys, too. And looking ahead, I guess, to next weekend, back-to-back Saturday and Sunday to close out the week. If you're really desperate and you really need to get in, you're in the 7th seed and you're trying to get into the 6th. Hornets, Pelicans, Knicks, and Thunder. Our pickup candidates, they vary around, percentage-wise. Some people have, been getting grabbed up. Some people are still available. And I see a lot of specialists here, especially like if you play category leagues, people that hit a lot of threes or maybe get a lot of steals. Kuminga, Delon Wright, Devonte Graham, Kris Dunn, Reddish. Whether it's people in new places or getting more opportunity because of injuries, Tim Hardaway Jr., Isaiah Joe, Naz Reid, Dennis Smith Jr., who's, coming back, and, LaMelo Ball is out for the season. Although he's had a horrendous last week, He could still be worth it as far as assists and steals are concerned. But we're going to start it off with the 20-year-old Jonathan Kuminga. And Doc, I'm just going to send it your way. What do you like about Johnny Cool?
You know, it's funny. We were talking about who we want to insert on the graphics, and I talked about Kuminga. James said, really? And then he looked at his stats. So this is the assumption that Andrew Wiggins is going to miss more time with a personal matter that's going on. You know, first and foremost, thoughts and prayers to him. Obviously, don't know what he's going through. Now, I do know that Steph is going to come back. I imagine he will be on a minutes restriction. But Kuminga, the last 4 games, 32, 29, 25, 27 minutes, has given you double-digit points in all of those, given you rebounds. He had 4 steals last game. He's shooting a little bit from the 3. I just think that he fits in pretty well with the Warriors rotation. There's somebody that I think they kick the tires on James Wiseman. They don't want to do the same with Kuminga, and they're trying to give him every opportunity to showcase his talent.
Hey, Wiseman looking good, though, over there in Detroit.
He is.
He is. And so sometimes, a new scene is good for players, and we like to see that. And we like to see, Jonathan Kuminga being power forward center eligible is also very chills to have that flexibility.
That's crazy. He's power forward center eligible at 6'7".
In the league with Josh, LeBron is guard, forward, and center eligible now.
Oh wow.
So since we're on the topic, James Wiseman, we don't have a graphic for him, but in the last 3 games, he's had 9 rebounds, 7 rebounds, and against the Hornets, he had 23 points and 7 boards, and he looked, the part as a former number 2 overall pick. And then the 2 games prior to that, 10 rebounds. So at the very least, he's rebounding at a very high rate. And yeah, the points have been a bit of a struggle outside of that Charlotte game, but Wiseman's a guy that you could look at as well. Somebody a little bit more consistent, someone that hit a 3-pointer, put his team in an overtime. Somebody that just does everything and really good for Cats League is Delon Wright. He's a swiper. He's one of Doc's favorites. So for some reason, I started with 2 Doc guys, and so I'm going to send it to Mr. Mendelson to talk about what he likes about Delon Wright.
I mean, Delon Wright is just like you said, steals God. Maybe not steals God. Let's retract a little bit. He's in the steals court though. 6 steals last game, 3 the game before that. I mean, he had 6 rebounds, both back-to-backs against the Raptors, 18 assists, and he's given you everything, whether it's points leagues, category leagues, contributes in all categories, had 4 threes last game as well, shot 9 of 17 in that series against the Raptors. I think the Wizards, Denny Avdia left yesterday's game with an injury, so that could open up some more minutes for him. But, I think at this point of the year, you want it to play who is getting the minutes and just who's hot, and especially for the Wizards who are fighting for that play-in, which is something I feel like I say every year. I think Delon Wright is somebody that should be rostered in more leagues.
Yeah, he could win you the category of steals we're talking about. He averages 2.1 on the season, and he averages less than 24 minutes per game. But the thing is, he played 40 minutes last game, and he's playing a lot more minutes. So this is somebody that could be leading the league in steals if he, played starter minutes. And right now he is playing starter minutes. So big shout outs to Delon Wright and those of us the 39% that have him rostered in Yahoo leagues.
Coach, does it annoy you that we started with 2 Doc guys?
Nah, sometimes I am courteous, and I can take a blow. It's like a boxing match when we come in here every week, and it's okay. You can have the first round. So I'm gonna move on to a Team Lewis guy, Devonte Graham. He will shoot you out field goal percentage, but I'm pro. If that's something that you're focusing on when you're drafting, it's not gonna go well. You can't just go for the guy that shoots 50% when you're sacrificing other statistics. And what Devonte Graham is going to give you is he's going to give you points in 3-point barrage. The minutes that he's playing right now in San Antonio, he's filling it up. He's going to be in the top 5 3-pointers made. I see throughout the rest of the season. Now, again, we've mentioned that they only played 2 games this week, so you might want to hold out till Friday for this pickup, because Friday he plays, Sunday he plays, and then he'll play on Tuesday. So, he's got a game this might be a move for next week, but he gets some assists too. So, yeah, Devonte Graham doesn't shoot high percentages, although in the last 2 games he was 7 for 15, which is all 3-pointers. It's 7 of them. And then he was 5 of 10. Oh, yeah. They were all 3-pointers. So all his field goals that he does make end up being threes. And then, you know, he can get you some dimes and a steal here and there.
Live and die by the 3.
So with one Lewis guy to the starter on Team Lewis, Jeremy Sochan. I don't know. He wasn't on the first graphic, but I had to sneak him in here because what is he doing in the last 2 weeks? He's killing people. 44% rostered, which is absurd. It's totally absurd that, you know, 56% of the nation is like ignoring this kid. 18 points, 8 boards, 3 dimes, a steal. Like, what else do you want? He had 22 against Indiana, 22 against Utah. The guy is just a fabulous basketball player.
56% of the nation is smart.
Yeah. Or the world. You know, this is a global game. This isn't just the United States.
I mean, I love
shout out to the UK and England. Jeremy Sochan.
Hey, I'll give him. Sochan's been good. That 22-13 game against the Pacers, that was nice. 11-26, that was a little bit unexpected for him to take that many shots. He's somebody that I'm going to like next year, and I think we're seeing it at the end of it.
I'm sorry.
We'll see in an auction draft, but I mean the percentages, 5 of 13, still shooting 44% on the season. He's missed his last 11 threes. He's shooting 24% from the field or from 3 for the year. Just keep that in mind. He's going to give you some good games, but also that field goal percentage is. Ugh.
He's a dog. He's a dog. Let's just
also,
be honest.
He's been good in the stocks category, but he's averaging 0.8 steals and 0.4 blocks for the season. Let's not act like this is the norm for him.
He's not even legal to drink alcohol.
Yeah, so but we're talking about people this year that are going to help you win.
All right, moving on. Kris, not so done yet. He gets a 10-day contract, then he gets his second 10-day contract, and he's playing big minutes for Utah. And one thing that's, you know, not deniable about Kris Dunn in his game is his defense. He's a high-level elite perimeter defender. But what's kept him out of the league and a former, you know, lottery pick is the fact that he can't really shoot. But, you know, talking about the steals cord and this is like a poor man's Delon Wright. If you can't get Delon, going with Kris Dunn is not a bad thing because he still gets rebounds and still gets dimes as well.
Think about the Jazz at the beginning of the season. They had an embarrassment of riches at the point guard position, and then they got rid of Malik Beasley. They got rid of Mike Conley at the trade deadline. Then Colin Sexton got hurt his hamstring. So, like, that really opened up the opportunity for Kris Dunn.
Yeah, what else opened up the opportunity is Utah is not trying to win anymore. They started off the season hot, and, you know, at one time they were leading the Western Conference with record, but they're trying to get into the Wemby sweepstakes as best as possible. And to do that, insert Kris Dunn at starting point guard.
He is tough in that Jazz jersey, though.
Yeah, I love those jerseys. I like the Spurs. I don't know. I like all the different jerseys. I like this Kuminga jersey. So shout out to the NBA for the different threads that they're spoiling us. And one of the classic best threads is the Portland stripe jersey. And Cam Reddish is getting a new opportunity over there in the last 2 weeks, which is a decent sample size since the trade deadline. 16 points, about 3 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 46% from the field, 2 threes, you know, a steal and a half against Atlanta, against his former team, which we see a lot of times when you go heads up with your former team. 25 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 threes, 3 stocks. So shout out Cam Reddish. You could go in worse directions if you're trying to make a weekly pickup.
Chauncey Billups has like a 7-8 man rotation with the Blazers too. Like I've noticed the one person that isn't safe with playing time is Shaedon Sharpe, but I feel like everybody else Chauncey Billups loves and is guaranteed to get some run in that 2-3 zone he plays. I don't know if you've been watching Blazers games, but he puts that zone out there most games. Yeah,
that 2-3 matchup zone. And shout out Dame Lillard because his 71 was just a spectacle. I mean, it's the second 71 point game that we've seen, but I was almost more impressive with the level of difficulty that he was pulling up from threes from all over the place.
I don't think we make it as casual when they drop 60 plus like Dame. It's just like, oh, Dame had another 60 plus game, but we don't like it gets slept on. It should get more recognition than it does.
Yeah, and his season should be recognized as well because it probably is the best of his career after last year. Some people counted him out and said it's done for Dame Lillard, but it isn't done. He is not done. Tim Hardaway is a repeat offender here, somebody that's going to make a lot of threes. And he'll have a couple of games where he won't wow you, but he's never afraid to put them up. Against Indiana, he hit 4 threes. Against SAC, he had 6. In the last 2 weeks, he's averaging 16, and he's getting playing time with all the roster moves Dallas has. But he's one of the engines of that potent Dallas offense.
I can't co-sign this. I'm sorry.
That's it. I can't co-sign threes.
He just shoots threes. Like, he doesn't even give you rebounds. He's been averaging, I think, like under 3 the last 2 weeks and assists. Like, yeah, we look at that 3-pointers 4 per game, but that's really kind of inflated from a few of those. I mean, you look before, just earlier in February, 2 of 4, 3 of 10, 4 of 9, 3 of 7. Like, he doesn't hit the threes. He's not really worth anything.
Yeah, but he does hit the threes, and you just like Cam Reddish, but
but also the volume is now down since Kyrie is there. Like,
so you're going with Cam Reddish over Tim Hardaway Jr.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah, give me Tim Hardaway Jr.
All right, if you want to lose and not make the playoffs.
Watch, you're gonna like Isaiah Joe. Watch, he's the same statistical person right here. Isaiah Joe of OKC.
Yeah.
16, like it's almost nearly identical of what we just saw with Tim Hardaway Jr.'s last 2 weeks. And the same 28 points, 6 threes, 3 stocks. Isaiah Joe, who's cut by the Philadelphia 76ers, looking like a nice pickup for OKC going forward because the kid can really shoot the basketball.
Yeah, I mean, just wait for them to tank even more and to bench SGA for the entire season. I mean, you're right.
Currently.
You live and die by the 3, giving you less than 3 rebounds, less than 2 assists, 3.5 threes made over the last 2 weeks. The volume is there more than Hardaway. 13 attempts, 9 attempts, 4, 8, 12. I mean, if you're streaming someone for threes, I would take Isaiah Joe over Tim Hardaway.
And it's shocking to absolutely no one that we find Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with an apparent injury at this time of the year. Naz Reid, shout out Naz Reid, who had one of the greatest fantasy just stream games with this performance against Golden State the 26th of February. He had 30 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, 4 3-pointers made, 7 stocks. But yet just last game he played 18 minutes. So like he's a boomer bust pickup. Say it again.
Something's wrong in Minnesota, man.
With his lack of playing time, certain games, or
there's no consistency there. Like, play Naz Reid if it didn't make sense. He in 36 minutes, he had that great streamer day, and then he plays 19 the next. Like, what are we doing?
And shout out Naz Reid's just ability to hit a 3-pointer. Like, when you hit 4 threes in a game, 3 threes against LA, and you're as big as he is, like, that's going to make him an NBA pro for a long time. And this is a guy that went undrafted after only playing 1 year at LSU. And, I mean, I really liked him. I thought he deserved to get drafted. I'm glad that he's found, a position in the NBA. And I'm pretty sure free agency is looming this summer. So we'll see if maybe a different opportunity, a new place will be beneficial for Naz Reid. But, I think he's a good fit with, like, an Anthony Edwards. But it's just kind of shocking that he doesn't play consistent minutes, especially with Cat not being available.
I think they got to get rid of Cat.
Yeah, I should have never drafted him. He sucks.
Womp, womp, womp.
Moving on. Dennis Smith Jr. We mentioned this at the beginning. LaMelo Ball is out for the season, and at the beginning of the year, he got an opportunity. And one thing for categories leagues is he gets a lot of assists. He can get you some rebounds. He gets steals. When he's shooting 26%, though, that doesn't make you happy at all. But he was hitting some threes at the beginning. Let's see if his confidence ticks up. If you picked him up, I wouldn't cut bait with him just yet. I think I would try to give him maybe a couple more games before I would cut ties with him because he may be really beneficial to you come the playoffs around the corner.
Yeah. Strictly categories leagues. You love the assists. I mean, even from the stocks, giving you 2 stocks over the past couple weeks. Like, if you can stomach that field goal percentage, And you can surround him with guys like Jared Allen, Rudy Gobert that do that or do have a higher percentage and kind of even it out. Coach, guess how old Dennis Smith Jr. is?
Dennis Smith Jr. is 23 years old.
He's 25. I feel like he's someone that we talk about as like a retread that's like 28, 29.
Nah, I mean, I said 23, so I was still under. But I knew he was one and done NC State, and not too long ago.
Have we seen anybody's career like tank as much as his?
I mean, we mentioned Kris Dunn earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess because I think he was a part of one of the all-rookie teams his first year. So
rookie season, 15.2 points, 4 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and a steal. Like it's crazy how much he's regressed.
And it just shows how important shooting is in today's NBA. Because I think that if you throw back, early 90s, and he could still be a starting point guard caliber player. But I just think with the volume of 3-pointers made, you can only have like one guy that can't shoot on the court, and he just hasn't proven himself to be a 3-point shooter, and thus people play off you. I mean, we see Russell Westbrook has trended in completely the wrong direction because defenses are just leaving him wide open, and it's hard to play a game when you have a liability on offense like that.
We should make a team or a starting 5 of all people that can't shoot. So it'd be Dennis Smith Jr., Russell, Ben Simmons, probably Draymond. Your guy's so on.
I set you up for that one.
Oh, yeah.
And lastly, Hamidou Diallo. Oh, here another guy that can't shoot threes. He's a strictly points league guy, but in last week averaging 19. He's been double digits, I think, the last 7-8 games in a row. He's 23 against Charlotte. I see a lot of high numbers here against Charlotte. That's a shocker. But yeah, Hamidou, this is just a mention because if you're a points league and maybe streaming a guy at the end that is going to get you some points in a steal, but really nothing else.
How you do, Hamidou? Second appearance on the show. Welcome to the pod. I mean, James, I think he's been. I know the last 3 games is kind of where he's like really taken off, but he scored double digits in the last 8. I think in all games since they've traded Sadiq Bey. So we talked about at the trade deadline. Sometimes when people move, that opens up the opportunity, and especially points leagues. I mean, he does give you some rebounds. I don't know how much that's going to carry on, but he's shooting at a great volume, 59% over the last week.
You know what I just noticed? This is not really fantasy related, but Detroit it's funny how they always are taking a gamble on a previously highly drafted
player. Marvin Bagley, Kevin Knox, James Wiseman.
They signed RJ Hampton. They gave Josh Johnson a look.
They did give Josh Johnson a look.
Like it's just nonstop. Josh Jackson rather. But yeah, maybe one of these days they'll actually hit on it. Maybe it is Wiseman. Who knows?
They got him for basically nothing.
They did. It was definitely worth what they gave up, all those second-round picks. So with that, week 20, we wish you the best of luck. We hope that you're in the playoffs next week. We'll do a special fantasy playoff show next week. This is really the time where the games played really matter. The back-to-backs matter. Your pickups are essential. You may be cutting ties with like Harrison Barnes of the world, people that are really good rosterable players, but then, you might be trying to go boom or bust and, trying to win that week because it's a week-to-week thing at this point of the season. And we're glad you came along for the ride.
Wait, Coach, I want to ask you before we get off, what are you doing if you have Ja Morant?
Just waiting 2 games until he comes back. What do you mean?
To miss at least 2.
No. I mean, come on. Are you worried about Ja Morant? I mean, the Ja's like you brought up the topic.
I put on our Twitter account like a week and a half ago. I said, anybody worried about Ja Morant? Because there's just been too many stories that were flying under the radar. Like I do think Ja Morant comes back and plays this season, but I do think it's going to be more than 2 games. So, I mean, obviously Tyus Jones is probably rostered in your league, but if not, I would definitely check on that.
Yeah, he's definitely a stream guy for this week. We should have threw him in the show because Tyus Jones is one of the best backup point guards in the entire NBA. As far as the Ja thing's concerned, I think that he needs to clean up some of these like altercations and things. But the 17-year-old that he fought like at his house, like that happened in the summertime. Like it was known, but the details in the Washington Post story, it's an interesting time that the story drops. Everyone always has a motive.
I mean, there was just the thing about the mall, about people like threatening security employees. The thing at the Pacers game where they,
which was not him, but it's the party that you keep around, the people that you keep around you are a reflection of yourself as well. Yeah, you mentioned the Pacers thing.
We can't even deny the gun in the Instagram live video.
No, I was just sitting there.
Yeah.
And when the microscope is on you, dude, you gotta know that and just like.
Bro, it wasn't even somebody else's Instagram live. It was his own Instagram live.
Yeah. I have faith that this is, just him maturing and things that he'll clean up as time goes on. That's what I kind of believe in. If you're a Grizzly fan or Ja Morant fan, just keep your jerseys. Don't trade them in. I think that he will have a turnaround and they just have a bright future. So I'm not giving up on Ja as a character person either. He just needs to clean some things up.
I agree.
All right. That's our show. We'll see you next week. Good luck to y'all, all of y'all out there. Doc, good hang, good talking, good chopping it up, and shooting back and forth at each other.
Always.
Lately I've been feeling things change. We've been working hard, no sleep, get it every day. And I swear that we ain't stopping till we pay. Yeah, the pressure on, gotta make it work, triple play, yeah.